In this video, we're going to show you how to take off a wheel that's completely stuck and does not want to come off. Let's get to it. Usually after removing the lug nuts, the wheel is completely loose and you can just lift it off. However, sometimes it can be stuck for seemingly no reason. That's because the wheel can rust onto the drum, making it sometimes very difficult to take the wheel off. In most cases, you can just hit your wheel with the palms of your hands a few times and it will break that rust loose. But that may not be enough. For the next methods, you want to put the lug nuts back on loosely. This way, if you use lots of force and your car slides off your jack, it will just land on its wheels and not come crashing down if the wheel breaks loose. Safety first. What you then want to try is to kick your wheel. It's best to kick right, left, top, and bottom so you put force on it in different ways, increasing your chances of getting it loose. You can either do this while standing, or you can sit down in front of the wheel, place your hands behind you as a support, and kick with your heels like so. But even when using a lot of force, the wheel doesn't budge. And now you see why you need to put the lug nuts loosely back on. The entire car is rocking back and forth, and if you're using an emergency jack, your car could easily slide off and crush whatever is underneath it. Next, you want to try to hit your wheel from behind with a rubber mallet, so the force of the impact is in the direction you need to take the wheel off. If you're stranded on the side of the road without tools, you can try to hit the backside of the tire with your spare tire or anything else that has some mass to it. Usually this does the trick, but once again, it's not budging. Now for the next method, make sure the lug nuts are only a couple of turns loose, because we're going to use the weight of the car and power of the engine to crack the rust loose. As you can see, the lug nuts only have a small gap between them and the wheel, so the wheel can still pop loose but won't ever fall off. Lower your car back on the ground and make sure there's nothing underneath, in front or behind your car. You now want to start the engine and aggressively drive back and forth a couple of feet until you hear or see the wheel pop loose. And just like that, a loud pop and the wheel is free from the drum. When you watch it again in slow motion, you can clearly see the lug nuts and drum moving separately from the wheel itself. So now we know for sure it's not stuck on the drum anymore. Let's lift the wheel off the ground and try to remove it again. Nope, still not coming off, which might be confusing because the wheel is moving on the drum, so it's not stuck anymore. What's happening here is the wheel is stuck on an inch of the axle that sticks out of the drum and has a little play on it, which is why we can seemingly move the wheel without it coming off. We'll show you once we get the wheel off. What we now need to do is put more sideways force on it to pop the wheel off that ledge. Lower the wheel back on the ground with the lug nuts loosely installed and shake the car from side to side as hard as you can. You can push the side, use your weight on a bumper or door sill, or if you have a tow hitch, use that to shake the car violently back and forth. But even after all that shaking, the wheel did not pop off the ledge. We need to put more force directly onto the wheel without the rubber tire dampening the impact because once again, hitting the tire doesn't work. Place a block of wood directly onto the metal wheel and hit it with a small sledgehammer to get a sharp blow directly next to where it's stuck. But once again, nothing. Lastly, you can try a crowbar or lever between the wheel and the drum itself. Wiggle the crowbar in between the wheel and the drum and pry the wheel off the drum. We only use this as one of the last methods because it's easy to damage and scratch your wheel or drum this way. You'll need to use quite some force to get it off, or even try in different spots. And finally, our stuck wheel is free. Now we can remove it and show you what the issue was. Our wheel was rusted stuck on that small ledge here, which is the axle sticking out past the drum. That's why the wheel was moving slightly on the drum while still being stuck. To avoid this in the future, put a bit of copper grease on the contact areas to prevent them from binding. That's all there is to it. Now you know how to remove a wheel that does not want to come off. Thanks for watching. More videos are on the way, so be sure to like, comment, and share this video. It really helps us out a lot. Our content wouldn't be possible without the amazing support of our patrons and YouTube channel members, whose crew you can join via the links in the description to see our schedule, vote on future videos, get behind-the-scenes sneak peeks, and much more. This is Classic Car Maintenance, and we'll see you on the next one.